Westminster will be shutting down due to major repairs needed, and Crystal Palace are demolishing parts of the building.
Ooh, scary.
Morgan?
We have a story on autism. Also, we're determining the Ebola vaccine.
The Inspiring Young Woman campaign is being held, and the next story is the money spent on pets. And wait for it, you'll love this one. Last but certainly not least, a bus ran on poop.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over to you, Vice, with the story on Westminster.
Thanks, Isabel. Today I'm going to be talking about how Parliament could be abandoned within the next 20 years. And that's without all the extensive repair work. And at the moment, it costs £30 million a year. That's the maintenance bill. And if it doesn't get repaired, it could suffer crumbling walls and flooding. Also, it's coming to its 200th anniversary. And so some people might say it should be restored much more often, rather than waiting so long it just gets shut down. But other people might say it costs so much anyway, it should have been shut down a long time ago. And also there's a significant amount of repair work to be done. And so in the meantime, where will MPs and Lords go? Here's some interviews on this story. Okay, I'm here with a Hayes student at Hayes School, Alice. And what are your negative sides on this story about Parliament closing down?
Well, I think it's really bad and unfair because the building's been around for 200 years and they've been using it for 200 years, so it'd be a bit weird moving out the building. And also, if they think money is more important than Parliament, then they must be really stupid because money isn't nothing for Parliament.
Thank you. Hi, I'm here with a teacher at Hayes School, Miss Turner, and I'm going to be asking her positive perspective on how Parliament could be shut down in the next 20 years.
Okay, well, I think it could be a really good thing for Parliament to close down. The building's really old, it is an icon, but actually it's costing us a lot of taxpayers' money in us restoring it, and maybe they need to realise that it's old, it needs to just be abandoned, and maybe we need to set up a brand new building that would be a lot cheaper for us, because taxes cost us a lot of money, and then I want to make sure that they're used efficiently and they're used well.
Okay, there you go. Now, as I said before, it's going to cost a lot of work to be done, and so if they do find the money to restore Parliament, MPs and Lords are going to have to go somewhere in the meantime. For about several years, and so there's been a few suggestions, such as the Queen Elizabeth II's Conference Centre. It's an ideal location as it's only a few minutes walk away. Also, there's been Buckingham Palace, only 15 minutes away, and there's been Manchester Town Hall. And although it is the longest time away, being 2 hours 15 minutes, it's also used as a double in the movie Iron Lady, where Meryl Streep played Margaret Thatcher in the movie Iron Lady, but it's also very expensive too. Thank you for watching. I hope we've helped out in your opinion on this situation, and back to Isabel.
Thank you, Vice, for that intriguing story.
Next up, we have the news on Crystal Palace.
Good morning, my name is Elsie.
And my name is Freya.
We are here today to tell you about the proposed redevelopment of Crystal Palace Sports Centre.
This is a newsworthy story because many athletes will be affected. The new proposals for the National Sports Centre mean that many of the training facilities which athletes use daily will no longer be available. They will be lost forever, as they are not planning to redevelop them.
As a Crystal Palace diver, how do you feel about the redevelopment of Crystal Palace and how does it affect you?
I think it affects me because I can no longer do my diving now and I won't be able to become a world-class athlete.
Furthermore, there are plans for redevelopment at the top of Crystal Palace Park. Mr. Ni Zhang is a billionaire who wants to rebuild Crystal Palace and develop the site to bring it up to date while showcasing a great building from British history.
Both of these proposed developments will not only impact on athletes but also the local community.
Consultations with the public and all parties will be completed later this year. Even Boris Johnson is backing this development and he wants to improve the space and facilities at Crystal Palace. He states that the redevelopment of Crystal Palace is exciting and beneficial for the local community. The story is linked to Hayes as there are pupils at our school who use the facilities at Crystal Palace to train and develop as athletes. Here is an interview from one of our teachers.
How do you feel about the redevelopment of Crystal Palace?
Well, I'm really excited about the redevelopment because it means that there's going to be lots more facilities and things available, not just for adults, but for children as well. And I think that will give lots of opportunities for people to experience new things and also bring a new vibe and energy to the area. So I think it's a really good thing.
Overall, we believe the story needs to be shared so that everyone knows what the future holds for Crystal Palace National Sports Centre.
For the next story is on autism.
Let's see what they have to say.
Thank you, Gemma. Hello and welcome to the BBC News School Report. We're here to speak about autism. Autism is a mental condition present from early childhood, creating great difficulty in communicating and forming relationships with other people and in using language and abstract concepts. I'm joined here with Miss Arnold, whose stepson was diagnosed with autism. Thank you for joining us. What is it like to look after an autistic child?
It can be very challenging, but also very rewarding. So, Sam is quite severely autistic and he finds it very difficult to communicate, which can be very challenging. However, seeing the world through his eyes is creative and exciting and opens up a whole different world to us. So it can be good and it can be hard as well.
At what age was he diagnosed with autism?
He was diagnosed at 2 because he wasn't learning to speak, and also he had some compulsive repetitive disorders. So it was really good actually, because the younger that you get intervention and help, the better the outcome can be for the child.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
What's your interpretation of autism?
Autism is part of the autistic spectrum disorders, and what happens is that your brain doesn't develop in the same way as with other people. So if you think of your brain as a very complicated thing and it has lots of different cells, and the connections between those cells in autistic people haven't developed in quite the same way as for other people. So what that means is that it makes it quite hard for your brain to make sense of the world. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So things that would be things that you don't think about usually, like knowing how other people are feeling or dealing with change, can be very, very complicated things for people who've got autism.
What are the difficulties that autistic children have to face at school?
One thing, it depends how severe their autism is. If they're children who are very severely autistic might struggle with things like loud noises. They might make them very distressed. They might not like crowds of people, so they might really find it difficult to come out between lessons or at playtime at school, break time at school. Those kinds of things might be difficult. And any kind of situation like drama, for example, or group work can also be quite hard, because it's harder for those students to be able to read people's emotions and know how they're feeling.
How do they overcome these difficulties at school?
We do a lot of work with those students to support them, and if they need a lot of help, then you might find there's a teaching assistant in the classroom who will explain things to them. But as well as that, if they needed to come out of class a little bit earlier to avoid the crush in the corridor and things like that, we can organise things like that too.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching Rat's Studio.
Next up, the story on the Ebola vaccine.
Oh, will it make me cry?
Let's wait and see.
Yes, Shannon is here to give us the information, informing what's happening. Shannon.
I am here in Hayes School to give you the latest updates on the Ebola vaccine. My name is Shannon, here on the BBC News School Report. The fatal disease first appeared in 1976 in the Ebola River, Congo, Africa. It has come now and then, but it's never as bad as now. In this report, we will be telling you about the countries affected by Ebola and the death number, and interviewing some staff at Hayes School. They'll be telling us how they feel about this disease. One of the biggest questions for the UK is there a chance that Ebola will spread to the UK? The answer is yes, but a very slim chance. The vaccine is promising this jab strengthens your immune system, which Ebola attacks.
However, not everybody has access to the vaccine, so lots of people have died. Ebola has affected 4,700 people since the outbreak in West Africa. 4,057 have died in Liberia, 3,500 in Syria, Leone, 2,127 in Guinea, and 8 in Nigeria.
I'm here with a student from Hayes School. So, do you think Ebola will come to the UK? And do you think we will need this vaccine?
I believe that it's already been to the UK. However, I heard that the patients that have been diagnosed with Ebola had been cured, so I reckon it won't spread.
Do you think it will work if we have the vaccine?
Yeah, I think there's an 85% chance that it will work.
Thank you. I'm here with a member of staff from Hayes School. So, do you think Ebola will come to the UK?
I do think Ebola will come to the UK because I think we, as a community, we are a global village, and the whole world we're a global village. So I think that it doesn't matter at the moment. Ebola is in Africa, but the way things are at the moment, somebody from Africa will be traveling to the UK, and they're not ways, they're not systems to detect Ebola. So somebody from Africa could travel to the UK. Yes, so I do. Yeah.
Do you think that we will need this vaccine?
I do think we will need a vaccine. They tried the vaccine in Africa at the moment. It's quite expensive as well, vaccine. It doesn't seem to work right now, but it's been perfected. So I do think it will definitely be needed. Yes.
So do you think the vaccine will work?
Once it's perfected, look, listen, Ebola is a new disease, so obviously you have to try and come up with a new vaccine for it. I think that eventually it will be perfected, but right now it isn't. Yeah.
Thank you.
We are waiting for confirmation if this jab is successful. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have realised how important one jab can be. Good night.
Thank you, Shannon.
Next up is the wonderful story about the Inspiring Young Woman campaign.
Over to Ruby with the news.
Good afternoon, I'm Millie and this is Ruby. We're reporting to the BBC School News Report. We are reporting to you about an amazing event that young women at Hayes School got the opportunity to go on. It took place in the Olympic Aquatic Centre on Wednesday the 25th of February. This event was for young women who excel in sport.
We are now going to interview Holly, who was lucky enough to go on this inspiring trip.
Did you enjoy the trip? Yeah, it was really great. I'm meeting with these inspiring women and stuff like that. And it was a really fun trip overall. We got to, meet people like Claire Baldwin and just women that enjoys in schools. So it really inspired you to, take up a job in your own sporting sort of direction. Thank you. Did you just know?
Hello, we're now interviewing Mr. Healy, a PE staff at Hayes School. Do you feel the students were inspired by this event?
Yeah, absolutely. Really inspired. To go to a conference with Claire Balding and some other fantastic sportswomen of similar age group with two amazing female PE teachers was a fantastic opportunity. And to be able to listen to somebody who's been extremely successful, both as a female sportswoman and a commentator, and be inspired by what she had to say, could only have been inspirational for our girls. And I know, having spoken to our girls and to our two female PE teachers who went on the trip, that it was really worthwhile.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you feel inspired.
Thank you, Ruby, for that interesting news.
Next we have the money spent on pet story.
Let's see what they have to say. Over to you, Holly.
Thank you, Izzy. Hello. Today we'd like to talk to you about how Britain's pooches are getting seriously pampered. We're here now at Hayes School to interview pet owners to give you an idea of how much the average Brit splashes out on their furry companions every year. Many people love their pets and feel that they should spoil them. For example, from our research, 2 out of 3 owners admit to letting their animals sleep in their bed with them, and 3/4 of dog owners let them sit on the sofa.
Hi, I'm Mia. And I'm Joe. We interviewed Rachel Comerford, but sadly she can't be here today as she was in a meeting. When we interviewed Rachel Comerford, the manager for Fetch, a dog-related company, she said, pets are our passion. We spend a fortune on looking goods ourselves, so it's understandable we want to look the part too. She told us more than a third of her owners, polled by her online pet store, said they avoid going on holiday abroad so they do not have to be parted from their beloved canine. More than half pamper their pets at least once a week, spending on an average 11.46 at a time. Again, we apologise that Rachel Comerford cannot be here today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Miss Arnold from Hayes School. Do you have any pets?
I do. We have a chocolate Labrador.
And do you feel you spend a lot of money on them each year?
Yes, well, we spend, because we both work and we're quite busy, we do spend a lot of money on getting dog walkers so that she gets walked, especially in the winter when it's dark, when we get home at 4.
Other people that I've spoken to give them manicures and pedicures. What do you think about that?
We don't give her manicure. I think that's going a little bit far. We don't do that, mainly because as a chocolate Labrador, she likes to eat anything and everything. She just scavenges the food. So if there was something on her, she might eat it, and we'd be worried that she'd get ill.
Thank you for your interview.
I'm here with Hayes School students Keris and Edie. So what do you think on the amount people spend on their pets every year?
I think it's fine if that's what people choose to spend their money on, but personally I wouldn't spend my money on my cat.
I think it's good because it prevents animal abuse.
And do you have any pets yourself?
Yes, I have 1 cat.
I have a Labrador and I love it.
And would you say you spoil it?
I give it a lot of food and it's quite fat, but I wouldn't say I spoilt it.
No, not really, but I take it for lots of walks.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. Some of our research also shows us that dogs are more expensive than cats to care for. However, cats' surgical bills tend to be higher. Toys, treats, grooming, travel expenses and vitamins for pooches cost sufficiently more than cats as well. How much would you spend on your pets?
Thank you, Ollie.
Now we have a story that people might not have heard of.
Yes, now we have the poop bus. Not sure what it is? Well, let's go over to Lucy to find out. Lucy?
Thank you, Gemma. Britain's first bus to be powered by human food waste has taken to the roads. This eco-friendly bus will be powered by poo. Now we're going to interview Miss McKenna, an art teacher here at Hayes School. The 40-seat bio bus, nicknamed the number 2. How do you feel about the poo-powered bus?
I think anything that uses waste is a good thing because our planet is full of a lot of pollutants. I personally use unleaded petrol at the minute, but if a poo-powered car proved friendly to the environment, I would definitely consider it.
If you could buy a poo-powered car, would you?
Depends how much it would cost. Would it be as expensive as unleaded? And the poo that's in it, is it produced by people who just are vegetarians? Because other poos sometimes can be a bit smelly. So you'd have to find a way of making it a bit more fragrant, but I would consider it, yes.
Will transport people between Bath and Bristol Airport. The eco-friendly vehicle can travel up to 300 kilometres on 1 tank of gas, which takes the annual waste of about 5 humans' waste. We are now going to interview Miss Clark, a DT teacher here at Hayes School. How would you feel if the world was powered by human waste?
I feel it would be a very useful thing. At the moment, obviously we all produce waste, and most of it goes into the sea, or it goes into rivers, it becomes pollution. It's not used in a purposeful way. So if it was used to power items, or be recycled and reused in a purposeful way, I think that would be a good thing.
Would you donate your own waste to power the bus?
I don't see that as a problem. If it goes into a container or outside of the loo and it's taken to power the bus, I think that would be a good thing. As long as, there's not a big sign up saying who's donated, I don't think anyone would mind.
Everyone has different opinions on on this kind of transport, but one thing we do know is that this bus is good for the environment and could be the future for eco-friendly transport.
Sorry, serious Ben.
Yes, very serious.
It's quite funny, you have to admit.
I agree, it was very funny.
And now we have the weather.
Today's weather is going to be chilly.
With an 11-mile wind blowing in from the northeast and cloudy around England.
The highest temperature predicted is 8 degrees and the lowest 4 degrees.
Thanks, Susie. Now sadly, that's all we have time for. Thanks for watching the 2015 BBC School Report.
Bye.
Bye.